Hey guys, this will be my first attempt at recording a video for YouTube. It's going to be RS25 Heroic, and it'll be a breakdown of our encounter recently on Lordaeron and our group composition, some things to look out for, and how to generally approach RS25 Heroic. So to begin our group composition, we're running a 5 melee group inside, and the melee group inside is Arknare, Kavi, Semicolon, Eber, and Arya. So 2 Ret Paladins, a Fury Warrior, Frost DK, and a Feral Druid. Normally we would go with 2 Ret Paladins, 2 Warriors, and a Feral Druid. However, because the inside tank is a Prot Paladin and the outside tank is a Prot Paladin, and we do not have a DK tank, we are then forced to sort of get a Frost DK inside, just to complete the buffs inside, and the composition can run more smoothly that way. For outside, we have 3 mages, Boomy and Shadow Priest as the range DPS casters, and a Demo Lock of course. Then we have 2 hunters, both a trap spec, and 2 rogues. The healers inside are 1 Holy Priest, 1 Holy Paladin, 1 Resto Shaman. The healers outside are 1 Resto Shaman, 1 Holy Paladin, 1 Resto Druid. Now with outside healers, you can substitute the Resto Druid with another Resto Shaman or another Holy Paladin or even a Holy Priest. I wouldn't recommend Disc. It doesn't really matter, you can mix and match depending on what your actual guild has. We just run a Resto Druid because Vake is normally our Boomy and he has a decent Resto Druid spec, so he restos for RS. It's pretty much the reason. Inside, Boomer is Holy. The reason we go with Holy Priest inside is for the backup healing. You can 2-heal it, but it's good to have the extra healing inside just in case something happens to the Holy Paladin or Resto Shaman. Plus, he has a weird spec where he has Body and Soul, and every time he bubbles someone, they get a little speed increase, which helps out massively paired with freedoms inside. So I'll be playing Warrior, Prot. I'm going to be the ads tank. The rogues are going to be trixing me with the little ads. The hunters will be trixing Omegara, main tank outside for the Inferno. Alright, let's go. Good sense of habit you should be doing as a warrior outside. You should always be using Vigilance on one of the range or one of the DPS outside. I always use it on the Unholy DK as that's my personal preference. That's what I believe generates the most threat. But you can use it on whichever outside DPS does the most threat and you're most comfortable with as a warrior if you are warrior tanking. And Bull's coming now.
I mean, how capable are we really if we need to kill this shit every week? Just keep coming back.
And here we go. Pulling, I always start with Thunderclap. Thunderclap the boss, so he has the slow, the attack speed slow, and then just get 5 stacks of Sunder up there, should devastate. You don't really need to do too much damage as a warrior here, so don't really worry about that. Just make sure you're stacking max melee. We're going to the other side. Now, let me pause it here. When you're moving to the other side, try not to be in front of this leg area here because the boss will breath, and when he breaths, if you're too far forwards or further forwards than this leg area, you can get hit and die, and that's not good because we have to raise 3 reses on you. So try not to get hit by the breath when you're going forward.
What a gentle Adam.
Kavi, keep diamond on yourself, okay? I gave you it now. Alright, now flames are coming. Really good exercise you should do here is call out which side you're going to stack. So as you can see, it's sort of coming. It's on our left side, so it's pretty easy to say, oh, stack on the right. But be sure to do, call out for it. As you can see, some people are going towards the left side. Always call out, oh, we're stacking on the right, so everyone is stacked together. Another thing I want to mention is pets. Please make sure the pets aren't attacking the boss from the front. Always put your pets in the back. If they are attacking from the front, they can parry haste, and that is not good for the tank because he'll get smacked and die. Right side, right side. So as you heard, I said right side, so everyone's stacked on the right, and MDs are out onto the Inferno, and the little ads are now coming.
That's on the side of
Before I continue, I do want to say, if you're ever in RS25 Heroic, I do highly recommend you use nameplates like this. I have a special add-on that also displays buffs on top of them, which helps me out for like shockwave and stuff. But nameplates as well, just so you can see the health of the actual mobs without having to mouse over them, okay? So as a warrior tank, what you want to do here is thunderclap as soon as the first few ads get to your vicinity.
With his left hand, guys.
So as it gets to me, I'll thunderclap here, and then I'll call out for tricks. And as the rest are coming, they'll start tricksing them to me. Now, as a Shadow Priest, it's very, very important you use your Mind Seer on the Living Inferno. The reason you use that is sometimes the tank will just get threat because he's closest to the vicinity. Or he might use like a Hammer of Righteousness or whatever. So if he does do that, you want to use Mind Seer as a priest. So you AoE damage them and temporarily threat the little ads so they come close to you, where then the rogues will use Tricks of the Trade and threat them to the warrior tank. So here they come, a thunderclap. As soon as they get bunched up like this, you want to use shock, which I just do. Pretty straightforward. Now, another thing I notice a lot of people do not do on Halion correctly is manage the DPS. So a lot of raid leaders will always say, don't range DPS, don't touch the little ads, focus the big ad. As soon as the big ad dies, Living Inferno, focus on the little ads. That is wrong. Do not do that. You are insufficiently using your DPS. You want to kill the little ads as quick as possible while they are under shockwave and doing no one any damage, and then you move on to the Inferno. Also, by having everyone AoE, and being that they're so close to the boss, you're also actually doing boss damage that way as well. So all the AoE is actually hitting the boss as well, not just the ads. So it's win-win, and no one's getting hurt. And as you can see, we kill all the ads, and all of them die. And the boss, the Inferno, is still at 26%. That is completely fine because we have 12 seconds on the next meteor, which means melee are now all free to DPS the boss, and range DPS can get the Inferno down fairly quickly. So as you can see, the Inferno is dead, and there's still 8 seconds for meteor, so that's 8 seconds of free DPS. And because everyone AoE'd, that also hit Halion, and he's like 84.5% already, which is okay. Sort of a guideline of what you want to be at when you're crossing through the boss. You want to, for the first meteor, you want to be around 91 or under. For the second, you want to be about 83 or under. If you're over that, you most likely will get a third meteor, and if you get a third meteor, it's not really good. You'll probably hit Enraged Timer. So that's sort of a little guideline for you guys to sort of keep in mind while you're doing this fight. As you can see, another thing, as you can see, we're all standing max melee, but our warlock is really close to the boss. Don't be like this warlock here. His name's Arfant. He's not really good. No, I'm joking. He's alright. But in general, try to always stay max melee. The reason being is if he gets the meteor, he's really close to the boss, and the closer the meteor landing is to where we're stacking, the more likely we are to get bad flames or really tight flames. Whereas if the meteor goes further away, the more likely they are to fan out. Sort of like Morrigar, how the flames, the further they get away, the more, fanned out they get.
Nice, Orphans. Nice.
And as you can see, someone called him out. Nice, Arfans, nice, meaning he wasn't stacking correctly, and he came to stack now. Alright, off we go, other side. Again, watch for breath. Always stay towards the back, sort of hind quarter of the boss. Don't go through the front because you can get breathed. Alright, here come next flames. Right side. As you could hear, call out right side for everyone so they know where to stack. Again, rinse and repeat, pretty straightforward now. Tricks after thunderclap. Shockwave, full AoE. As you can see, everyone's AoEing, even the mages. And then again, while you're AoEing, that's also doing boss damage, and the Inferno will die afterwards. You have plenty of time, 12 seconds till the next meteor. I fixed my sound here, sorry about that. Alright, in this attempt I'll go inside. Normally as a warrior tank you don't go inside, you stay out and then you safeguard, intervene the tank outside for the reduced physical damage. I go inside for the sake of this video. Now when you're going inside, there's a few options you have. You can either stack on the left side here or on the right side. This is personal preference. There's no definitive right or wrong. We prefer the right side because that's how we learned it and that's how we did it, and it's easier for us to follow the tank than for the tank to follow us, if that makes sense. There is an argument saying, oh, you don't go on the right side because when you're running you can get breath, but you can get breath on the other side as well if you don't move quick enough for the cutters, or if you just misplay. So as long as you're playing fine, you shouldn't get hit by the breath anyways.
Did you just place that light, or is it just in both rounds?
So again, 5 stacks asunder, thunderclap. I didn't thunderclap here for some reason. It's a bit of a misplay by me. There it is, thunderclaps up. First consumption, and with consumption, the way you handle it is you'll have a rep paladin order. So Arknir, Eber. Arknir will always do the first freedom, and then Eber will always do the second freedom. Pretty straightforward. Another thing, warrior tanks, if you do go inside, which you shouldn't, but if you do, make sure you refresh your vigilance and mages refresh your focus magic, because they do disappear when you change portals. Dark shape. Freedom. Moving a thief. Now, as you can see, cutters are coming. You want to position yourself max melee from the boss while moving. I have this cool little weak aura, and it'll tell me when the cutters are coming as well. And I also have DBM, but the weak aura is helpful because it'll have like a little timer. It'll tell you. Pretty straightforward. Now, coming up on this attempt, I'll show you why we wiped and what you should be doing to prevent that from happening. Okay.
Wheelchair add-on.
Which one?
The one that's literally saying move now.
You like it? So carry on.
Bound to be a wheelchair instead of a Lambo.
Carry on, carry on, carry on. Pretty straightforward. Moving again. Now another thing, if you have good DPS, you can push. Oof, that hunting got placed. If you have good DPS, you can push without the last cutters. But it's always safer to just wait for the last cutters and then go out. So as you can see, we're at 53%. And we'll call it to slow down DPS. Stop DPS, stop DPS, stop DPS. So at 51, we could push it, but we choose not to. Next cutters in 7 seconds, and rather safe than sorry. We can probably push 1.6% damage in like 3 seconds, 4 seconds, but then that gives everyone 2-3 seconds to get out before the cutters come. And again, we're not going for timers, so there's no point in actually risking it. We just say chill on DPS, take it easy, and you'll see what happens. Just stop, take escape, take escape, take escape, take escape. So we chill out, cutters are coming. Take escape, take escape, take escape, take escape. No push, no push, no. Alright, and then at 50.3, 50.5, you want to start telling the Holy Paladin outside and the tank outside that it's about to get pushed, so they can start precasting and using their defensives. Normally this is where you'd use intervene on the tank outside as a warrior tank to give him safeguard and the reduced physical damage. No push, no push. Alright, start healing outside now, start healing outside now. Push. Wait, alright, now, as we're coming out, there's a consumption that's coming. Now, this timer is a bit off. It's actually a lot sooner. So what we say is watch consumption, and you either do, as soon as the cutters finish, if you push the boss, you either click the portal instantly and go out, or if you're not quick enough to click it instantly, you just wait for the consumption. There's absolutely no reason to risk it, because it'll lead to a raid wipe. Consumption, watch consumption. Consumption now. As you can see, there's about 3 seconds left on the timer. I said watch for consumption. Alisara, he didn't click it instantly, unfortunately, and he clicked it. He clicked the portal after he got consumption because he didn't pay attention, and that caused the raid wipe.
In front of
Oh my god.
If you're gonna be late, okay guys, wipe it. If you're gonna be late,
I was waiting
stop.
forever.
Alright, just
and then
stop.
I'm like,
Just
well,
stop.
it's not.
If either you click instantly or you stop and you wait, even if you have to wait forever. Right, let's go for the next attempt. Let me just fast forward a little bit. Let me fast forward. Right, so this is the next attempt. What sort of internet do you have though? What's your upload speed on your internet? We're just talking some random banter. Alright, Richard, go. And let me just speed this up. This is inside. Cool, same sort of thing here. Assumptions. You see how they move always behind? They try not to go too far forwards. That was a little bit far forwards, but any more far forwards than that, you can get hit by breath. But as long as you're moving correctly, you should be fine. A lot of times people move like completely in front of the boss. I don't know why. Just don't be that person. Usually, if you move directly behind where the group is all stacked, you're completely fine. Pretty straightforward.
It's because of your sins. Oh, shut up.
I just changed my sound settings a bit there. As you can see, freedoms, pretty standard stuff. Cool. Alright, again, I'm going to call for a stop in a second.
Waiting or pushing?
Chill, just chill.
Yeah, no. Stop.
Stop. Click escape. Start healing outside, There it is. We push a little bit early here, which is okay. No rush, just wait for it. Alright, Lukov got it.
Yeah, go.
Alright, you can all push damage inside for the... I go out here as well. When we go out, this is something really important. This is usually where most people go out. If you're a tank outside, right, you want to position the boss a little bit more to the right side, like Ome has it here. The reason you do that is if people are late to go out, they can get hit by breath. So if you have it positioned a bit more to the right as they're coming out, they don't get hit by the breath. It's pretty straightforward. Once everyone's out, you can fix the position. Max melee still outside, pretty straightforward. Now, when you go out, the percentage, they're going to push you inside. The way this percentage works, think of it, this isn't exactly how it works, but it's a great way to think about it. So think of Halion as being divided into two, right? And doing crazy amounts of damage in phase 3, but being divided into two. The outside tank takes 50% of Halion, and the inside tank takes 50% of Halion, right? So when you push more damage inside, you push Halion more to the outside. So when it goes 60% on the outside, that means we're taking 60% of Halion's damage, so we're taking more. And 40% inside, that means they're taking 40% of his damage, which means it's less. So what you want to do is, while we're going inside and in a 5 DPS comp, you want to push as much as you can, because as soon as we go outside, we'll push again, and we'll take it back down to 50, which you'll see in a second. Hero inside. Now it's 50, we're going to hero inside. The reason you hero inside instantly is because we're now going to push you. And if you hero inside, you get to push us back a bit and prevent yourself from lagging behind on the corp. Again, always move from behind the front legs because you can get breath. Max melee still. Another thing now, here's a little oopsie I did. As you can see, I didn't reapply vigilance. Please make sure you don't do this little oopsie. If you do go inside, always reapply vigilance, or if the DK comes back out, always reapply vigilance. Watch flame. You'll see I'll realize it about halfway through the pool. Alright folks, Alright, I'll do Thunderclap.
I think my macro broke.
Taunted there. I used my Shockwave a little bit early, but not too bad. And then I realized here, oh shit, I don't have Vigilance on the DK. So I do a little Vigilance there. And all is good. Now we push DPS. With the comp that we use, we do not need to use Hero outside unless we fuck up. So, yeah. Just keep watching. Getting push damage again. We're at 50, which is good. Now as we're crossing, we'll push them to 60 inside again. So see, we went to 40, we pushed them to 60. We have flames coming here. If you have a little ad alive like this, don't worry too much about it. It's not going to kill you, especially as a warrior tank. Just, it'll die eventually with the cleave, don't worry. Another thing I do want to mention is defensives while we're moving. If you can, please use a defensive for every meteor, either a DSAC or a GS or any sort of really defensive, a SAC. Anything you have, it just helps the tank, and it's a lot safer. Right side, left side, left side, left side, left side. When you can, come left. Another thing to bear in mind is because the actual phase, or this actual physical realm, is at 40%, the tank takes less damage as well. So the way we run it, because of the extra DPS and the 5 DPS inside, outside never really takes too much damage. It's usually at 40% inside.
Start to move.
4 AoE here, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I cannot keep my pet alive. What the fuck? It's died twice during this whole fight.
No.
I have no idea. It's taking hella damage.
Max melee. Stop DPS on boss, we're pushing too much, just chill out. So we push too much here, again, stop DPS and carry on. Inside catch up. Stop, other side.
Want me to go in?
Focus Inferno, no, it's fine. It's fine. We're not pushing timers, it doesn't matter. Just play safe. Push damage. Back to 50. This is the ideal situation. You don't want to keep it 60% inside for too long. Sorry about that, technical difficulties. Getting Shockwave, pretty straightforward, standard stuff. Tricks from the road. AoE. Full AoE again. And as you can see, because the way they're AoEing, it is also hitting the boss. So the boss is actually taking damage as well. The Inferno will die, just full AoE.
Start to move.
Chill on boss. You can go in. You can go in after this trick. Something there. I went too far back. Got hit by the tail swipe. Don't do that. But it's not the end of the world. As long as if it stuns you for a second, you're not going to die. Oh, never mind. This is dead. This is dead. Don't go in. Slice done. Goof. Stop on boss. Focusing for tricks.
Dude, Para, how are you dying? I'm not even tricksing you.
Start to move.
DPS on boss. Alright, we're just gonna push now. This Demi can go in. Is it safe to go in?
Yeah.
Demi go in.
Yes.
Big, you're gonna do solo. Don't attack the ad, just burn boss. Full burn on boss. Left.
Zeroism.
Go on. And once you get to about 10%, you can just push boss.
Start to move.
Stop. That's fine. Pretty straightforward, easy kill. Don't dispel me, don't dispel me. Spill me. And that's it.
Oh my god. Oh man.
Oh man.
Lol, I'm your best. Congrats,
I
bro.
made
So yeah, pretty straightforward. Just the few takeaways I want you guys to have from this video is with the actual damaging of the ads. Don't be afraid to call out for everyone to AoE the little ads because it's more efficient, especially with a warrior tank, to do it that way, and then focus on the Inferno. Watch your positioning. Obviously inside, don't mess up the Freedom Order as a Rep Paladin. When you're going outside, please wait for consumption. If consumption is coming, don't expect the timer to be accurate. Sometimes it's a few seconds off. Wait for consumption and then take the portal. Tanks outside, make sure you always have Halion on a bit of an angle when we're coming out so we don't get breathed. And again, you'll use hero inside as soon as outside pushes back to 50%. So when the outside DPS are going out, you push inside as much as you can, and then when they go out, they'll push you back obviously to 50%. As soon as they do that, you use hero inside to try to prevent them from over pushing. Again, and you only use hero if you are just pushing at the end like we just did there, or if something goes wrong, you lose the DPS and you need the extra damage.
Fucking rain dropped, yes.
But as you can see, I barely had to use defensives. I didn't even use Last Stand. I only used Shield Wall once. I didn't need to use Pot. You know, it's pretty easy. This is a pretty nice, easy comp and method to do this boss. And this was done on Lordaeron server where there is no donation gear or anything. Average gear score, we are pretty geared. Average gear score is about 6.3, 6.4. But we did this the first time with like 6.1k geared characters, so this is definitely doable even with lower gear.
What the fuck is this?
Hello.
I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm sorry, I'm really bad. I know the production quality isn't great. It's my first time doing a YouTube video, so I will be trying to improve and make better quality videos going forward. This was just a little breakdown just to put a video on the channel, but going forward I'll do more breakdowns of every ICC boss, class breakdowns, what to look for, my own personal footage where I make mistakes so you guys can see what I do wrong and try to rectify yourselves. Decision making, sort of examples where there's something that happens and I need to make a decision on the fly and how you should think or what you should look for and stuff like that. If you like it, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to get to 100 subs so I can get like a personal YouTube handle. But yeah, if you like, subscribe, like the video, and tune in for more. Thank you for watching.